24 minutes down and 24 to play at Chicago Stadium, where the Bulls trail the Spurs 53-46. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Prudential halftime report. Before we hit the Friday night highlights, some injury news around the league. Larry Bird's back is bothering him again, and he won't travel to Orlando tomorrow night with the Celtics. He missed 15 games with back spasms and has had what's called a minor flare-up. Phoenix will play without Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley tonight at Golden State. KJ pulled a hamstring. Marley has experienced numbness in his right thigh. And back from the injured list tonight, Detroit's Isaiah Thomas. He missed 32 games after surgery to repair torn ligaments in his wrist. There was doubt as to whether he would be back this season, but he is back, and he had this message for his fans.
One day, when you're not playing this game anymore, you don't want to ever have to look back and say, man, I wish I would have played that day when I could have played. So I don't want to cheat myself, and I understand your concern. You don't want me to push it or go too far, but being an athlete, you have to get right on the edge, and you got to push it to the limit, or you'll never get as good as you can be.
And at guard from Indiana University, number 11, Isaiah Thomas.
As expected, a tremendous ovation for Zeke as he took the floor tonight, but kind of a surprise. He was in the starting lineup, and Isaiah got right to work. Watch the move into the lane, and there's Joe Dumars wide open with the assist there for Isaiah Thomas on the Dumars bucket. Dumars, though, has his pocket picked nicely by Tony Campbell. He'll sail in alone and give the Timberwolves a 4-point lead. Chuck Daly, though, watches Isaiah come back. He scored 8 points in the first half. That's the first bucket since January for Isaiah. He also had 4 assists. Minnesota, though, playing him tough at the Palace with a 47-45 lead at the half. The Indiana Pacers can clinch a playoff spot tonight if they can beat Wes Unseld and his Bullets. He was one of 3 Bullets ejected last night against Portland. There's Chuck Person using the window for a 2-point Indiana lead. Washington comes back, though, off the break. There's Harvey Grant in stride, throws it down for a 3-point lead. And back come the Indiana Pacers. Reggie Miller, and watch the nice pass to Michael Williams, hits him in stride, airborne, and right now Indiana trying to nail down that playoff spot, a 78-74 lead over Washington as they play in the third period. The Portland Trailblazers have won 8 straight tonight. They're taking on Orlando. That is Jerry Reynolds being rejected, and this is Clyde Drexler to Jerome Kersey. Drexler didn't do much in the first half, though, because he got knocked out of there in the first quarter. Protesting an offensive foul call, Ed Middleton gives him the gate. Jerome Kersey. Look at Dennis Scott. No, rookie, that's not going to work in this league. But this does. From 3-point range, Dennis can fill it up from out there, and beyond the arc, he does it. Orlando playing 500 ball since the All-Star break, trailing Portland 72-70 in the third period. The Charlotte Hornets and Cleveland Cavaliers looks like the only 2 teams in the Central which will not make the playoffs. It is Cleveland 78-69 in the third period, and the Utah Jazz, trying to keep the heat on the San Antonio Spurs in the Midwest, have a 27-21 lead over Dallas as they play early in the second period. When the Prudential halftime report continues, you will meet the Bulls' colorful color man, Johnny Red Kerr. His story is next. In a recent survey, Chicago was voted the toughest place to play when you're on the road, in large part because your basic Chicago Bull fan is vocal. I mean, if you want to be heard at Chicago Stadium, you got to be loud. And that goes for one particular Chicago broadcaster, too. The screaming man behind the mic is none other than the Bulls color man, Johnny Kerr. For 16 years now, Red Kerr has worked as a Bulls analyst on radio and television, and his love for the team is a family affair.
The Bulls are like my kids. I love it when they do good, and I'm a fan. I know that the people watching in Chicago are fans, and I still love it so much. When I see a great play, it just carries me right out of my seat.
Jordan past Petrovic. Whoa! Michael blowing in, feeds Pippen for the jam. Powerhouse! Powerhouse!
After a 10-year career in the NBA with Syracuse, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, Johnny Kerr became the first head coach of the expansion Chicago Bulls in 1966 and led them to their first playoff berth in that same year. However, it is behind the microphone where Johnny Kerr is most recognized these days, and his rapport with fans and players is unmatched.
He's a diehard Chicago Bulls person. When you listen to him announce the game, broadcast the games, he wants you to win as much as anybody.
3 seconds ahead to Paxson. Another 3 by Pax. Yes! Yes! Bulls lead!
We need to get Johnny a seatbelt. In fact, last year when John Paxson hit a 3-point field goal at the buzzer in Dallas to win a game for the Bulls, he left his seat. I thought he was going to unplug everything.
Cross court to Paxson. He delivers the long one. Yeah! The Bulls win! Oh! Oh!
You know, it's really amazing that I've been involved in basketball so long, and it still gets to me when I see an exciting play.
When you listen to him, he really makes the game very exciting. Even if it's a 30-point win, he makes it very exciting.
Johnny shares a special relationship with the Bulls superstar, even to the point where Jordan includes him in his pregame ritual.
Got something for him, though. Oh, there are fans in the stands, and then there are fans right here.
I think it started one time when he put the rosin on his hands, and as he dusted it off, Jim and I sort of complained about, wow, he's getting that stuff all over.
First it was just for fun, you know, but now it's more or less a routine, good luck charm to see what they do to combat that. You know, it's a great laughter before I go out and play.
Check this out, MJ.
Just one out, MJ. You got it, baby. All right, here we go.
Hey, we got him. We got him. We finally got him.
How do you stop Michael Jordan?
We did it.
A man who loves his work, Johnny KERR. The Bulls and Spurs go to the third quarter in just a second. First, a reminder, we're back with you on Wednesday night. The Atlantic Division duel between the Knicks and Sixers, a Wednesday night extra at 8 on TNT. We start in Detroit with the return of Isaiah Thomas. The Pistons have been without their all-star point guard for 32 games since he had surgery to repair torn ligaments in his right wrist. Dr. Kirk Watson, who performed the surgery in January, had warned against an early return for Zeke, but today gave him the go-ahead.
I think he understands the situation well. I think he knows how bad I want to play. And he was willing to take some risk and some gambles in terms of releasing me early, and with the understanding that I'm willing to take those risks and gambles. And like I said, if I screw it up, I just go get it done again, and if it's career-ending, then the career's over.
So Isaiah Thomas takes the gamble, and he is expected to start as the Pistons host Minnesota tonight. Meantime, the Phoenix Suns travel to Golden State, and neither Kevin Johnson nor Dan Marley will play. KJ pulled a hamstring in last night's loss to the Lakers, and Marley left the game complaining of numbness in his right thigh. He has been undergoing tests today to determine what caused it. Now the latest on Roy Tarpley, who was charged with driving while intoxicated last weekend. He's been suspended without pay for violating his aftercare program for substance abuse. That suspension was handed down by the ASAP Family Treatment Program in Van Nuys, California, which runs the NBA's anti-drug program. Tarpley has not played since the 5th game of the season when he went down with a knee injury. At Market Square Arena tonight, the Indiana Pacers can clinch an Eastern Conference playoff spot with a win over the Washington Bullets. Washington is coming off a loss last night to Portland that featured 4 ejections. They all came in the 4th period as Darrell Walker was kicked out of the game by official Steve Javie. And minutes later, Purvis Ellison argued, got his second tee and was ejected. And then head coach Wes Unseld went jaw-to-jaw with Javie and was sent to the locker room. And to cap it off, Bullets mascot Hoops was told to knock off his antics and leave the court. Festive night at the Cap Center. Back at the half with highlights, score updates, and any mascot